Group calling themselves the Patriotic Millionaires for Fiscal Strength wants to pay higher taxes. Eric Schoenberg is a member of that group. He's also the chairman of Campus Works, and Eric joins us this morning. So welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So you want to pay a higher tax rate on upper income, right?
I certainly believe tax rates need to go up on higher income individuals.
Okay, may I ask you this? You're part of the Patriotic Millionaires group.
That's correct.
Do you earn $1 million a year?
I have in years past. I don't do it consistently.
But you don't now?
It's been a couple of years since
you are a millionaire who has acquired $1 million worth of wealth, but you don't make $1 million per year.
Yeah, well, there is this kind of confusion now. I mean, historically, I think a millionaire referred to somebody who had more than $1 million in wealth. Now it's kind of confused to mean somebody who has $1 million in income.
So, reading between the lines here, if you don't earn $1 million a year, you're not going to have to pay the extra taxes on $1 million a year income, are you? Well, somebody else will pay the higher tax rates that you want them to pay.
No, my position is that tax rates ought to go up on incomes above $250,000 a year, which is, of course, the issue that's currently under discussion. And I certainly fall in that category.
Okay. Do you have, what about people like me? I've got 6 children, 7 grandchildren. I earned and worked for every penny that I have made. I already pay more than 50% of my income in taxes. You want me to pay some more? You don't think I pay my fair share?
There are a number of different issues that get involved here. I think, let's begin with the basic issue. This country is facing a fiscal disaster.
No, let's begin with me, Eric.
Okay.
Do you think that I should pay more than 50% of my income in taxes?
I think that...
I'm an up-and-coming immigrant striver. You're trying to depress me and suppress me?
I think it is perfectly reasonable for those who have done well by the society we live in to contribute to that society.
More than 50%? You're in favor of that? What about people like me? I've got 6 kids.
Well, first of all...
6 college educations, 7 grandchildren.
Let me say, you know, I'd be curious about how you're paying more than 50%, since the top rate on income at the federal income tax level is 36%. So I assume you're adding in taxes beyond income.
Yes. When I say 50%, 50 cents on the dollar, I'm basically saying that federal income taxes and state income taxes add up to a net loss of 50 cents on the dollar for me for every extra dollar that I earn. I say that is unfair, but you want me to pay even more.
Well, I do want you to pay more, but let's go back to the issue you're sort of alluding to, which is my trying to get you to pay higher taxes. I support a number of important changes in our tax policy, and one of the important ones that I support is that I don't understand why people like you, who actually work for a living, should pay higher tax rates than people like me, who earn the majority of our income from investment.
But wait a minute, you want me to pay even more, for heaven's sake.
But I'm saying that I should be paying even more than the difference I want you to pay. And again, to focus on each of us as individuals, I think, belies the most important fact.
Well, how are we supposed to take this other than as an individual? Here you go to the White House, you have this meeting with the president, and you are not going to pay higher taxes on
But I am going to pay higher taxes.
Not on the million that you've accumulated. You're calling yourselves patriotic millionaires. You've accumulated your $1 million. You're sitting on it. You're living on it, thank you very much indeed. But you're not going to pay tax on that $1 million. I am going to pay more money on my income. You are saying I, Stuart Varney, who came here with nothing, has worked for every red cent that he's got, should pay more.
Let me ask you a question. Do you support estate taxes?
No, I don't.
You don't support estate taxes, so you want your children to be able to be in my situation paying lower taxes than you who work for a living because you made the money for them and gave it to them.
I will make the argument that the state would get a lot more money if it abolished the estate tax, but that is an entirely separate story.
It is a separate argument. Now you're switching to the argument of saying that the state is going to make more money. So if the question is what kind of tax level is actually going to generate more income...
Oh yes, let's talk about that. I'll tell you what we should do. We should lower tax rates and abolish some deductions. That would bring in a whole lot more money to the federal treasury.
I say let's raise tax rates and also eliminate these deductions. Our federal government is facing a fiscal disaster, and it seems to me eminently reasonable to ask the most successful people in this country who've benefited the most from the system that our government has been able to create to contribute to resolving that problem.
If we raise taxes on the people making more than $250,000 a year, we bring in $87 billion to the treasury, right? That's the number, okay? That's That's from the government itself. 87 billion. That is 10 weeks' worth of interest on the federal debt. It will do nothing. It will, in fact, depress the motivation of wealthy people to go out and do another job, work harder, or make some more money in a different direction.
I think the evidence on that specific issue is not there. There is no evidence that, in fact, higher taxes cause people to work less.
Hold on a second. You don't need evidence. You just need math. The president is not saying it's just a matter of math. Well, the math is that we have a $1.1 trillion deficit year after year for 4 years in a row because that $800 billion add-on in the stimulus turned out not to be a one-time event, but a regular baseline item. So we've got this huge deficit. $80 billion is the most that is going to be raised every year from raising the tax rates. That's only 8% of this deficit. Where do you get the other 92%?
The idea that we shouldn't do something because it's not going to solve the problem totally is ridiculous.
But if it makes the problem worse,
when Mitt Romney was asked about how we're going to solve the deficit, he talked to reducing funding for PBS. Do you know how much money goes to PBS?
What raises the most amount of money? Yeah. It's not raising tax rates. It's increasing growth in the economy, and all we do to raise tax rates is decrease growth.
When did we have higher growth rates in the economy? We had higher growth rates in the United States in the economy in the 1950s when the top marginal rate on income was 91%. The argument that says
But you know who paid that? You know how if you adjusted for inflation, that cutoff right now would be $3.6 million.
And I would be fully in favor of imposing a higher rate on people with income at that level.
That I really have a problem with. You know, I've read a couple articles about you, and I know you inherited a certain amount of money. You know, you get two people, a family, they struggle to Stewart's point, and they get, you know, maybe a family business, and they're doing $400,000 a year. I don't know, plumbing, a couple of laundromats. And at the end of the day, you inherited money, but you want to punish them for their success. I am so contemptuous of people in your organization who want to punish people who have barely achieved the American dream and make it harder for their kids to achieve it.
Did you inherit wealth?
It's despicable.
Did you inherit wealth?
So first of all, yes, I have inherited wealth, but I've also made money on my own.
Wait a minute. You inherited wealth.
I did.
What about the rest of us who were strivers, the Charles Payne
all three of us.
All of us.
All three of us.
So, gentlemen,
we are.
First of all, I restate my basic point. Do you support the idea of equalizing the rates on investment income and on income that you earn from working? Because this is a point I've made repeatedly.
You mean a flat tax?
Why should you guys who have worked hard...
Hold on a second. You just asked a question. Let me answer it. Absolutely. It's called a flat tax. It's something that Steve Forbes has been arguing about for a long time. Make us all pay the same rate for our taxes and get rid of those deductions. So you're a flat taxer. That's great.
I say we should equal. You're confusing multiple issues. The issue of what the tax rate is. Steve Forbes believes that we should not have anybody pay income on capital gains. Is that not correct?
On money that you've already earned.
On capital gains. This is not money you've already earned.
Yes.
You're making money on money that you...
Hold on. I'm almost out of time, but I do have a last question. If you want people like me to pay higher taxes, okay, or you people like yourself to pay higher taxes, did you bring your checkbook today?
I don't have my checkbook.
Will you write a check to the government and pay the taxes voluntarily if you want other people to pay?
Taxes are not a voluntary process. Taxes are the price we pay for civilization.
If you want other people to pay, you're a millionaire. You want other people to pay higher taxes. Why don't you volunteer? Get right out there up front and do it.
I want all of us to pay higher taxes.
I challenge you to do it.
Because this is entirely beside the point.
You make me, but you won't do it yourself.
I'm trying to make us all. You and I should pay equally. We should both contribute. You're now asking, why should you be able to free ride? I'll tell you what.
Free ride?
Let me wait a second. Will you agree to not allow the government to do anything for you? You're not going to allow the police to protect you. You're not going to allow the fire department to put out a fire. You're not going to let the U.S. military. It is the exact same argument. You're asking me to contribute to pay for those things myself so you can free ride on that. I say, if you don't want the benefits of government, you can go to a place like Somalia.
Hold on a second. People are paying zero federal income tax, suck up more of those benefits you're talking about in a day than Stuart Varney will suck up in a year. The firemen are called to their neighborhood every day. The policemen 5 times a day. The welfare office, who is sucking up all of the benefits. It's not Stuart Varney.
Let's go back to the question you raised. Is it reasonable to ask me to voluntarily pay more when you are unwilling to voluntarily accept that you don't want these benefits that government provides? Are you not going to drive on the roads that government pays for it? Are you not going to use bridges and tunnels that the government pays for?
We're out of time. Sorry. Well, hold on. I'm sorry. I've got a hard break. That's the way it is in television. A pleasure. Maybe you'll come back again.
Thank you.
Maybe. My take on fairness and President Obama is next.